Hello, I'm Mary Mohr, Executive Director of the Retirement Industry Trust Association. I'm here today with Kaaren Hall, President of uDirect IRA Services. Kaaren is a member of our Board of Directors. Welcome, Kaaren.
Thank you, Mary. Glad to
How
be
long
here.
have you been a member of RITA?
Wow, a long time. It was 2011, so I think it's 9 years now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What would you tell people about the benefits of being a RITA member?
Wow, the benefits go deep in different areas like learning about legislation. There's not a lot of direct legislation that applies to our industry very often, but when there is, we need to be on top of it, like all the recent COVID changes and things. And so RITA always keeps us up to date on what has been going on in Washington, D.C. and how that impacts how we do our job. And that helps us then get it out to our account holders so they know how to react to what's happening. So it's a great resource for that. Credible
That's great.
information.
I know that you've attended many RITA conferences in the past. What would you say about those to prospective members?
Well, I love the conferences because first off, they're in the most interesting locations. It's fun to go to DC, being from California and seeing how things are on the East Coast and getting to see a little bit of history. But also what I really especially like about the Washington conferences, which are typically in the spring, is access directly to the Department of Labor, directly to the IRS and the Department of Treasury, FBI. They come and talk to us about fraud awareness. I mean, you were hearing it from the horse's mouth. And it's fascinating that we get this kind of access to decision makers and regulators.
And what would you say about the IRA Institute? I know you've been a student at the Institute in the past.
I think I was at the first RITA Institute when we very first did it. It was great. I mean, I'd already been in the self-directed IRA industry for a number of years, but it really hones your knowledge. And as a CEO of uDirect, I have sent every single one of my employees since then to the RITA Institute so that they come back, not just, of course, they understand so much more about the industry, but they get to talk to other people. And what we speak a language, as you know, that not everyone speaks. Talking about prohibited transactions and things like this, where you can really speak that self-directed IRA language to other people and gain a deeper understanding of what this is all about.
Well, that's great. It's a real benefit and it's helped many, many people in the industry. Kaaren, how has RITA helped you resolve challenges in your business?
Well, there are all kinds of challenges that come up, and I haven't had any really large challenge that I've needed help with, but there are the little things like how do we discuss fraud awareness with our account holders? We can't prevent fraud, but we really need to make our account holders aware of fraud, and RITA has been just phenomenal in that regard. There's I send it out with my new client letter, to every account holder about fraud awareness, where you can look for due diligence to NASA and FINRA and all the different agencies that can help you with fraud awareness. So that has been one of the biggest challenges our account holders have faced. I mean, there are a small percentage do face fraud and do face toxic assets. So that information from RITA has been something that it's just a staple in the way I run this business.
And Kaaren, what would you want to say to prospective RITA members?
Again, we're in a small industry, and as I was mentioning before, not everybody knows our talk, and you're going to have questions because the IRS doesn't come out with hard and fast rules on everything. It seems like with the IRS, the answer is always, it depends. So with the various different regulations and things you run up against, there may not be a rule. For example, with an IRA-owned LLC, is it okay for a husband and wife to have an IRA-owned LLC together? And if they do, can they fund it a second time? I mean, there are questions that we don't have answers to. But when you're in an industry, when you go to events like the RITA Institute and also the RITA conferences, then you learn how the rest of the industry is dealing with it and what the best practices are. So I think that it's just so valuable for that reason.
Well, Kaaren, you've been a real asset to the RITA organization, and we thank you so much for your endorsement today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.